Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your second video of the day for Friday, November 20th, 2015, around 4:42 in the afternoon in Billerica, Massachusetts. It was a nice and sunny afternoon after some clouds this morning and rain showers, and it shooted up to 60, and tonight's going to be cool again, back to normal temperatures. Some news to report, one little tidbit before my next video blog. Dan Shulman, who calls ESPN Sunday night games and also the World Series on ESPN Radio, is going to be calling select Blue Jay games this year, this upcoming season, 2016 season for Sportsnet Ontario. He'll be reunited with Buck Martinez. Dan Shulman used to call Blue Jays games for many years before joining the worldwide leader in sports. And that's about it on the news. My second video blog subject of the day is my take on the 1991 WWE Survivor Series from Detroit, Michigan. This was the 5th annual WWE Survivor Series, the first Survivor Series to take place on Thanksgiving Eve. The main event was the Gravest Challenge between WWE Champion Hulk Hogan defending against The Undertaker. And plus they had elimination matches. This was the first Survivor Series to have a singles match on the pay-per-view. And I won't tell you about it until a little later. Don't want to spoil things. And before the pay-per-view, they had a dark match, which was just shown to the crowd in Detroit, Michigan. It was Chris Chavez defeating Kato. Kato was a masked Japanese wrestler, part of the Orient Express. Kato was played by Paul Diamond, who was a journeyman wrestler. And Chris Chavez became Tatanka. And these are the matches that were on pay-per-view, which was called by Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. The first match was an elimination match, an 8-man elimination match, Survivor Series match. It was the real world heavyweight champion, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. He was joined by the Mountie and the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase and the Warlord. They were with Mr. Perfect, Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart, Sensational Sherry, and Harvey Whippleman, and they faced off against Rowdy Piper, the WWE Intercontinental Champion at the time, Bret the Hitman Hart, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, and the Bodyguard Virgil. And this was a great match. The first elimination, Warlord was eliminated by Davey Boy Smith, and he gave him a power slam, but then Ric Flair eliminated the British Bulldog. And Bulldog was out. And then it was just between Piper and Hart and Virgil against the Mountie, the $1 Million Man, and Ric Flair, and all 6 wrestlers were fighting in the ring. Piper whips Ric Flair outside the ring, and the other 5 will continue to beat them up. The referee called for the bell, and he disqualified everybody except for one man, Nature Boy Ric Flair, because he was outside the ring and he was a sole survivor and stuff. This was a smudge of a match. This was, horrible in my humble opinion. They should have disqualified everybody if they had all 6 men in the ring and stuff. And just a cheap heat in my opinion. The next match was another 8-man elimination tag team match. It was Hacksaw Jim Duggan, ho! The Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, El Matador, Tito Santana, and a mystery partner who was revealed to be Sergeant Slaughter, who got his country back. They faced off against Colonel Mustafa, the Berserker, Husk, Skinner, and Hercules. And they were with General Adnan and Mr. Fuji. And this was one of the worst Survivor Series matches of all time. The faces dominated this match. Slaughter and Duggan and Tito Santana, El Matador, and the Texas Tornado just annihilated the heels. Slaughter pinned 2 wrestlers, and Duggan pinned 2 wrestlers, and there were no eliminations on the face side. All the heels got eliminated. So the sole survivors were Sergeant Slaughter, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Texas Tornado, and El Matador. It was probably one of the worst Survivor Series matches of all time. Second straight year that a whole team will survive without being eliminated in the first face team. And the next match was the Gravest Challenge. It was The Undertaker with Paul Bearer facing off against the WWE Champion Hulk Hogan in the Gravest Challenge. The Undertaker, at this point, was a heel, and he was undefeated and stuff on television and stuff, and he was managed by Paul Bearer and stuff, and the Undertaker, no-sold a lot of things, and this was Hogan's Gravest Challenge to date, biggest challenge. Hogan, attacks the Undertaker and tries to beat him up, and then the Undertaker, beats up Hogan. And even though the Undertaker was heels, he was getting cheered the majority of the match and stuff. There were a lot of people were booing Hogan, and Hogan tried to do the leg drop on the Undertaker, but the Undertaker kicked out, and then Nature Boy Ric Flair interfered, and then he distracts Hogan, and then the Undertaker gives the tombstone to Hulk Hogan on the chair that Ric Flair brought. The referee counts 1, 2, 3. The Undertaker's the new WWE Champion. The crowd is probably 75% cheering for the Undertaker and stuff like that. The fans were a little shocked and stuff because they thought this would be another typical Hulk Hogan title defense against the Undertaker and stuff, because the Undertaker was, even though he was a dastardly heel early in the year, he stuck the Ultimate Warrior in a casket and stuff, but he was getting a lot of face pops and stuff during the fall of 1991, and they couldn't ignore it and stuff. Eventually, they turned him face. And the next match was another elimination 8-man tag team match. It was the Nasty Boys, Knobs and Sags, and teaming up with the Beverly Brothers, Bo and Blake, who weren't really brothers at all. They were fictionized brothers in the WWE. They're Mike Enos and Wayne Bloom, who were the Destruction Crew in the AWA, who won AWA Tag Team Champions, but at this point the AWA was folded and stuff. The Beverly Brothers briefly went to WCW. They were under hoods called the Minnesota Wrecking Crew too, but they went to the WWE. They were managed by the genius Lanny Poppel, and the Nasty Boys had the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, in their corner, facing off against the Bushwhackers, Luke and Bush. Whoa! Yeah! Oh, got Luke! And then the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. And this was, an okay match and stuff. They were having dissension with the Rockers and stuff, and it eventually became to Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty against the Nasty Boys and Beverly. Blake Beverly was the only one eliminated, and also the Bushwhackers were eliminated. And Shawn Michaels walks out on Marty Jannetty after he got pinned, and then Marty Jannetty gets pinned by one of the Nasty Boys. So the sole survivors are the Nasty Boys and Bo Beverly, and this continues to tease up the breakup of the Rockers and stuff, because by 1991, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty backstage were not really getting along. In the summer of 1991, they were taken off TV for a couple of months. There were rumors that Marty Jannetty was talking to WCW and was going to sign, the Rockers were going to go to WCW, but when they were offered a low ball amount, they decided to stay with the WWE and stuff. But, this was okay match. And the last match was originally going to be an 8-man tag team match. It was scheduled to be the Legion of Doom and the Big Boss Man and a mystery partner, which the mystery partner was going to be Macho Man Randy Savage, originally going to substitute for Sid Justice, who got injured. They were supposed to face Jake the Snake Roberts, Erwin R. Shyster, and the Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon, but Jake the Snake Roberts was kind of suspended for this pay-per-view because of the King Cobra biting Macho Man Randy Savage's arm on an edition of Superstars of Wrestling, and Macho Man got reinstated, but during this event, but they didn't want to have the 8-man tag, so they had a 6-man tag instead with the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, who were the WWE Tag Team Champions, and the Big Boss Man facing off against Erwin R. Shyster and the natural disasters, earthquake, and typhoon with the mouth of South Jimmy Hart. And this was, an okay match and stuff. Big Boss Man got eliminated by IRS. The natural disasters walked out on IRS because after one of them, I think Typhoon, accidentally got hit by Erna Scheister's briefcase and stuff. I think he was, teasing that like a feud down the road between IRS and the natural disasters. That came in 1992 when Money Inc. Feuded with the natural disasters, and then IRS, Erna Scheister, was going to leave the ringside athlete when they was with the Legion of Doom, but the Big Boss Man stopped them in his tracks, and IRS came back to the ring. The Legion of Doom does the Doomsday device and pins IRS 1, 2, 3. So Hawk and Animal are sole survivors of that match, and that was the last match on Survivor Series 1991. What did I think about Survivor Series 1991? I think this was a D. A lot of horrible matches and stuff, especially like a couple of these Survivor Series matches made no sense whatsoever and stuff. Especially the last one when they just, took out Macho Man, like the Jake the Snake and Macho Man. What was originally going to be, it was nice, was pointless. Also, Slaughter, Duggan, and Texas Tornado and El Matador match was, not great because there was no build-up. Kind of like the Rockers, teasing the dissension and stuff like that. And that 8-man tag with Ric Flair and Piper was, that was a big smudge. And The Undertaker and Hulk Hogan was probably the great match, but this was kind of like a disaster. If it wasn't had singles match between Hogan and The Undertaker, this probably would have been an F. And that's about it on that. Be back with the third and final video blog of the night, which will be about New York Mets announcer and San Diego Chargers announcer Josh Lewin. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Button guy. Molly Rosenblatt of Fox 35 Rocks has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart so stunning. And the word of Sean Lucia, get out! Bye!